Welcome back to the File X channel. Conspiring with her boyfriend to murder her own parents. In 2008, a scandalous video suddenly appeared on an adult dark web platform. The clip quickly garnered thousands of views, showing a young woman completely naked, with several men in a mysterious bedroom. Comments flooded in like a tidal wave, filled with debates, praises, and even merciless criticism. However, amidst the chaos of these remarks, a few chilling comments stood out, leaving everyone stunned. Look closely. Suzanne, she's the one who committed murder. This sudden accusation ignited a wave of suspicion across the online community. Could the woman in the video really be Suzanne? And if she truly was, then who became her victim? Was it one of the men in the clip, or was it someone else hidden in the shadows? These intertwined mysteries of sex, violence, and crime kept the entire online world asking, who is Suzanne, and what dark secrets are shrouding her life? Sao Paulo, Brazil, a place filled with luxurious mansions of the elite, where every home is a symbol of power and wealth. Among this prestigious area stands out a mansion worth over $1 million, owned by the noble couple Manfred and Maricia von Richthofen. They were the ideal representation of a perfect family, wealthy, happy, and respectable. Married in the 1970s, their union was not only a beautiful love story, but also a symbol of stability within Brazil's upper class. Their small family became even more complete with the birth of their two children, Suzanne, the eldest daughter born in 1983, and Andreas, the youngest son. They lived in a spacious mansion with 11 bedrooms, an expansive library, a luxurious swimming pool, and even a private office. Every corner of the house exuded opulence, proving that money was never a concern for this family. At that time, the wealth of Manfred and Maricia was estimated at a staggering $29 million, a fortune that anyone would envy. Within this immense wealth, Suzanne already had her name on a significant portion, $8 million, set to become fully hers when she reached adulthood. A small birthday gift from her wealthy parents to their beloved daughter. However, patience was not one of Suzanne's strongest traits. She did not want to wait until she was old enough to claim her enormous inheritance. And so, within the seemingly perpetual tranquility of this affluent mansion, darkness began to take root. A sinister plan was quietly forming. But what could have driven Suzanne, a privileged girl born into luxury, to act so hastily, gambling her entire future to seize what was not yet hers to take? The answer lies in the chilling truth behind this story. 4 a.m., October 30th, 2002. While the upscale residential area lay in peaceful slumber, a place long deemed impenetrable due to its top-notch security, a blood-curdling scream shattered the quiet of the night. The scream, filled with anguish and panic, came from the mansion of Suzanne's family, waking the entire neighborhood and leaving everyone stunned by the unprecedented disturbance. Lights flickered on across the area. Neighbors rushed toward the source of the sound. In the dim light, they saw Suzanne, normally the epitome of grace and elegance, now standing there trembling, her face overcome with utter terror. Her words were incoherent, stammering as tears streamed down her face, leading them to a scene no one could have imagined. When the doors to the opulent mansion were opened, a horrifying sight emerged, akin to the worst kind of nightmare. Manfred and Maricia, the couple once celebrated as the ideal family, lay lifeless on the floor. Their bodies were riddled with severe injuries, disfigured beyond recognition. Blood was smeared across the floor, staining an entire corner of the room red. The dim glow of a wall light illuminated every gruesome detail of the scene, leaving onlookers paralyzed with fear. The neighbors immediately called the police, yet none dared step further into the house. Scattered documents littered the floor, hinting at a hasty search. A jewelry box lay wide open, drawers pulled out carelessly. Could this have been the work of a daring burglar? But if it was just a robbery, why would the perpetrator resort to such horrifying brutality, mutilating the victims without mercy? When the police arrived, the sheer horror of the scene only deepened. What they encountered was not merely the death of two individuals, but a chilling warning that even in the safest places, darkness can transform them into a living nightmare. But the most perplexing mystery of all was Suzanne, the sole survivor, the one who discovered the crime scene and the person who first drew everyone's attention to it. Was this young woman merely a fortunate victim, or was there something more sinister lurking behind those tear-filled eyes? However, there were a few significant changes when the police opened an investigation. They discovered a very suspicious point in a case that was originally thought to be just a simple theft. That is, how the thief managed to break into a house that could be said to be as solid as a fortress, even bypassing the guards on duty and the 24/7 alarm system, and quietly killing Manfred and Maricia in a flawless and unbelievable manner. Realizing this was no ordinary robbery, the police began a more thorough investigation of those close to the Suzanne family. They were shocked to discover two suspicious figures, Daniel and Christian, with questionable transactions linked to Suzanne just before the murder occurred. Therefore, the police summoned Daniel and Christian to the station for questioning. When interrogated, Daniel constantly denied any involvement in the crime. However, in contrast to his tough exterior, his younger brother Christian panicked and confessed to everything. Daniel could no longer deny the truth. The story began in August 1998, when the Suzanne family attended a model airplane exhibition at Ibirapuera Park, because Suzanne's younger brother Andreas was very interested in airplanes. At the exhibition, Andreas met and was fascinated by Daniel's 18 years old works. Recognizing Daniel's outstanding talent, Manfred, Andreas and Suzanne's father, suggested that Daniel mentor his son to create model airplanes. But he never expected that a person who seemed so knowledgeable and capable of crafting a plane was actually a secret member of a notorious Brazilian gang. No one could have predicted that, from that casual meeting, a forbidden love would blossom between 15-year-old Suzanne and Daniel. Suzanne, who had never had a romantic relationship with a man before, saw Daniel as a kind, admirable person. Moreover, his passion and knowledge about airplanes, along with his slightly arrogant demeanor, made Suzanne more and more enchanted by him every day. In turn, Daniel was also drawn to Suzanne, the intelligent and wealthy girl. Their contrasting personalities made them even more attracted to each other. However, although both Suzanne and Daniel didn't want her parents to know about their relationship, fearing they would oppose it, their parents' reaction when they accidentally discovered it exceeded expectations. They accepted the relationship and even treated Daniel better afterward. They still believed Daniel would attend law school, even though that was just a lie he had told. Later, Suzanne also helped Daniel financially, and even Daniel's brother Christian lived off her support. One day, Suzanne's parents discovered unusual changes in her spending account. They began to suspect and investigated Daniel's background, uncovering the truth behind his lies. At that point, Suzanne's parents no longer accepted her relationship with Daniel and demanded that she break up with him. To deceive her parents, They pretended to break up in front of them, but secretly, they continued dating, and things gradually worsened as Suzanne followed Daniel into the gang. There, besides Daniel, Suzanne also slept with several other men at the same time. They filmed the events and uploaded the videos to the internet, where they quickly spread on dark websites. By chance, Daniel learned about the $8 million Suzanne would inherit when she graduated from university. But at the time, she was only 19 years old. There were still almost 2 years before she could access the money. Therefore, Daniel came up with a horrific plan to get that money quickly, without waiting. On the night of October 30th, 2002, at 12:30 a.m., while her parents were asleep, Suzanne lured her younger brother Andreas out of the house to attend a Halloween party. A while later, Suzanne sneaked out to meet Daniel and his brother Christian. Afterward, Suzanne returned home alone, turned off the alarm, calmly sat down on the sofa, and waited for the two brothers to arrive, to murder her parents. A truth that anyone who hears would be shocked and horrified. Suzanne led the strangers into her house to kill her closest family members. Afterward, she pretended to be shocked, as if she had just discovered the horrific scene of her parents lying dead in their beds. The case became clearer, but who the mastermind still remained a difficult question to answer. The police intensified their questioning of Christian, who insisted that everything that had happened was at Suzanne's command. Immediately, the police began to focus on her strange behavior throughout the entire incident. At this point, Suzanne began to proclaim her innocence through interviews with local journalists. She claimed that Daniel had given her some sort of drug, and she couldn't remember anything from that night until she woke up and found her parents dead. Some human rights organizations started to support her, the girl who had just lost both of her parents. So all the evidence began to lean in Suzanne's favor, especially since the two brothers, Daniel and Christian, had a criminal record related to drugs and had used them not long before the incident. However, a major turning point occurred during the investigation. Suzanne's defense lawyer, who had previously been the lawyer for her parents, suddenly released an audio recording of a conversation between him and Suzanne. Immediately, the public support for Suzanne began to diminish rapidly. Human rights organizations no longer stood by her. Suzanne, what should I do to frame Daniel? And how should I behave in front of the cameras? Lawyer, it's no different. Everything's over. Daniel cried, staying silent. What did you say to him? Daniel said, I love her, but she told me that everything I had to do was to find out the truth. I don't want to be arrested. Please, I really don't remember. I'm really unwell. I'm in so much pain at night. I beg you. Finally, on July 7th, 2006, 4 years after Suzanne's parents were murdered, after many trials, Suzanne was sentenced to 40 years in prison for the murder of her parents. Meanwhile, the two brothers, Daniel and Christian, were convicted as accomplices and were also given 40-year sentences. Given Suzanne's age of 23 and Daniel's 26, and Christian's age at that time, this was considered the harshest possible sentence in Brazil. This verdict concluded that Suzanne was an accomplice in the murder of her parents, but whether she was truly the mastermind remains unclear. Even while imprisoned, they continued blaming and hating each other. What's even more shocking is that the deceased parent's fortune may very well belong to Suzanne when she is released from prison. That is, in 2042, when Suzanne is 59 years old, she will once again be a billionaire. What do you think about the case of this girl, who, driven by greed, helped an outsider murder her parents. Do you think the sentence is justified? Share your opinions in the comments below this video.